Okay, so I'm going to show you how to sharpen. So all I did was take the knife and clamp it down, and took some pieces of leather to compensate for the height that this paracord is making the knife, so it's nice and parallel. Let me just move this parallel there. And then what I did with our file is I attached it with some cable ties, and instead of the file at this side I put a piece of sandpaper. This is 220. I'm going to use 220 and 400 to sharpen this knife. So all I'm basically doing is, previously when we filed, we took it from back to front, picked up, back to front. Now we're going to take from back and all the way, pull it forward, and then stop, and then pull forward. And we're going to do this on both sides, nice and consistently. And what I also did was, this part here was back here, so all I did was move it forward to increase the angle which we are going to sharpen with, and that's going to make a sharper angle that's not going to touch our cutting edge. Well, it's going to make the cutting edge, but not going to touch our bevels here that we made nice and pretty. Not going to touch that, and we're going to literally just scrape, pick up, scrape, and pull that way. So what it's going to do is it's going to make and start forming a burr. I'll show you what the burr now is. Okay, so I have a small little perspex knife just to show you guys what's precisely going to happen. So the back part of this knife here is flat, and then we made bevels. So that bevels, if you take a picture here, it's at the angle like this. And all we literally are going to do is take that angle and move material that way. So what it's going to do, it's going to form a small little burr. It's a little piece of steel that's going to fold over the knife like that. And when we are going to do it like that, we're going to do the other side, it's also going to do that. And it's going to destroy the one that's on this side and form it on the other side. When the knife is touching itself on both sides, when there's zero space in between, because now we have a small space there that we have left, but because it is forming on both sides like this, it is constantly going to break the other one and become smaller. Okay, and that's going to become sharp, and at the end we are going to remove this small piece of steel, this burr, and the knife is going to be hair poppingly sharp. Okay, so just make sure you can reach all parts of this bevel here, and going to start from back and stroke forward, slow and steady. And then when you take the knife out, you need to start from back to forward all the way. And when I take the knife out, and make sure you do the same amount of stroking on both sides. When you take the knife out and you feel there must be, so I took this file and removed steel this way, so it's going to form a burr like that. So when you're going to put your finger here and pull to the bevel, to this cutting edge, you're going to feel something catching your finger very slightly, and it's going to be at some parts and some parts not. Where you do not feel this, your bevel is not touching the other side. But first make sure you do both sides. Feel where it is not, and do it again. So you stay consistent on both sides, and make sure it touches on both sides equally. It's not just on the one side and the bevel's not on the other side. So you're going to do it on both sides, and make sure you can feel this bevel on this side and on that side when you sharpen both sides. So it's just going to be at the one side at a time. Just going to reclamp this knife so it stays in position. There we go. Okay, and I'm going to start at the tip. The tip's probably the most difficult part to sharpen, so I'm just going to be extra careful when I do the tip. There we go. You can start seeing that I'm actually removing material here. There we go. You can see the difference between that part and this part. It's a slight different shade, almost because that is the angle. So you can see it's actually starting to do something. Slow and steady. So now I'm going to do the other side and also do the same strokes until I can feel on both sides that there is a burr forming and this knife is nice and sharp. Okay, so I'm going to remove this piece of sandpaper and take a lighter course and then do precisely the same thing on both sides. Make sure I feel this burr on both sides. When I stroke the one side I feel it and the other side also feel it, and then I'm going to move to a lighter grid and do it at the 400 the grid. Make sure I can feel the burr also at both sides. Okay, so now I can feel the burr on both sides and I've moved up in grids, so I know this knife is going to be real sharp. But to remove that burr, to make sure the knife is nice and sharp, just took a normal leather belt that you put around your waist, just clamped it here for ease, and all I'm going to do is I'm going to start and I'm going to pull. So it's not a pushing in, because then I'm going to cut my belt. I'm going to start at the tip and just stroke all the way back, and then I can flip the knife and stroke it all the way forward. Or you can switch hands if you really want to. It's more effective to remove the burr by stroking one side and then stroking the other side, then constantly stroking the one side and then stroking the other side repeatedly. So take it once from back to front, flipping it over from back to front, then just flipping this and slowly removing this. The way you test if and make sure that there's no burr left, so you can feel with your fingers. If you do not feel the burr and you're sure it's not there, you can take a piece of paper, and I'll show you now how to make sure that this burr is removed on both sides and your knife is nice and sharp. There we go, your knife is now done. Now we're going to test how sharp this knife is. All I'm going to do is start at the back. See, I'm taking it all the way back, and all I'm going to do is slowly just check if it anyway catches. See, it catch there. So all I'm going to do is go back to the belt and just stroke it a couple of times. That means you missed a place where you did not remove the burr, because previously when you sharpened you felt there was a burr everywhere. So it means it is sharp. Just need to remove that small speck of steel and make sure it's consistently sharp everywhere, and then you can go back to your piece of paper and see how sharp your knife is. And there we go. I'm real happy with this knife. Thank you guys for building with me. Okay, so remember to send me all the pictures of your knives. Send me a WhatsApp or call me if you are struggling. I'll help you gladly, and the link to the description and all the things that you would need is in the description down below, with the YouTube channel and also with the website. Thank you guys for building with us.